You already know the lane one, unwanted, unwelcome thought. Lane two is the intellect. So if the intellect does not start the inquiry internally, then the lane one and lane two is going to take over. Just it's a matter of understanding. It has nothing to do with the practice. Is that from where this thought? And then she started explaining what is guilt. I said, that is the problem. Why don't you explain peace and happiness? Why you are explaining guilt? No, but we should know. I said we should know. That is right. We should know. But what to know? I said, when this happened, I said 10 years ago, I said, tell me what happened, what you were thinking last year on the same day and the same day. You see that you started smiling. This is what happens when we do that. And she looked into her calendar book and she said, I went to a therapist. I said, no, I'm not asking you went to a therapist or not. What were the thoughts that were moving on that day? I don't know. I said, you know guilt. 10 years ago that happened. Can you tell me what was the date and what was the time that happened? No, I don't remember. I said, why you push your mind to remember? Why? Tell me why. She said, I don't know. I said, there is one thing, complete knowledge, complete ignorance. There is a total ignorance, it is bliss. I told you before. There is a complete knowledge, there is bliss. Where is the problem? Incomplete knowledge. What is that incomplete knowledge? That is what we say is ignorance, misconception, wrong notion. So that wrong notion, according to Krishna, now I'm going to Krishna. According to that wrong notion and misconceptions, manifest three diseases: raga, shoka, and moha. Raga, likes is like moha, shoka, struggle, suffering, grief. That is what you said. Someday I feel, sometime I don't feel good. That is shoka, struggle and suffering. And third, delusion. So when you suffer from these three diseases in the mind, it will result in why only guilt? It will result into anxiety, guilt, depression, 3,000 mental disorder. Can anyone catch you? Just think. All the illnesses, mental and psychological condition or illnesses takes place in the mind. What we have been saying transcend the mind by understanding what we are saying. And 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 you see the most beautiful principle. I start thinking, if I am the mind, then the contents of the mind is also me. And the content of the mind is the guilt. But if I'm not the mind, how dare I can be the guilt? How can I can be guilty? So when we were talking and gradually in few minutes and she started laughing, I said, you are right. So you are right means I am right. Now there is no guilt. And this is what happens. when we follow the journey of a self-inquiry. She has been doing almost for the last it has been now 15 years. So she immediately picks up what she has learned, and she said, "You are right. You are." So then I wanted to examine how her mind is responding. So first, I stressed upon that complete ignorance. In deep sleep, I'm in complete ignorance. I'm not the body and the mind. I'm in bliss. But there is a catch. So when I wake up and I don't know, I say that I don't know what my mind was doing. But I had a sound sleep. I was very calm. I totally refreshed myself. This is the memory. I recollected. Yes, this is the memory. So our master's answers that it is not the subtle body that is the mind. That memory came from the causal body. Causal means I'm not doing anything. I'm not recollecting. It's a causal body. Oh, from the causal body, I remember these memories. Yes, the causal body, we know that. Causal body is Anandamaya Kosh. So that is why we say, oh, we experience the pleasure. Oh, in deep sleep, we remember the memory. Yes. So I said complete ignorance is bliss and complete knowledge. Now, how to know that complete knowledge? You have a complete knowledge. What is your name? Is there any problem with your name? Do you have a complete knowledge where your house is located and where is your house? You have a complete knowledge about your car. You have a complete knowledge that you are married or single. Nobody can say, one is single and he cannot say that I'm married. Nowhere. Even in dream, it doesn't come. You see the power of complete knowledge. See the power of complete knowledge. So it means whenever we have an incomplete knowledge means misconceptions. Then, now she is already in the mode of self inquiry. I said, the day I was born, and as I grew older, my parents, society, and teachers, friends gave me the meaning of the guilt. What is the meaning? Big smile. That is how my mind trained with these words and sentences. So suppose my mind was trained to use the word guilt for a big smile. And you are trained as you have understood. And then I come to you and I said, you are guilty. And you don't smile. Then I say, there is some problem with you. This is what happens in our life. We are unnecessarily getting into stress, getting into anxiety, duality. This is what the master says, the complete knowledge. So now see that Eastern wisdom digs deep down. Oh, what is the meaning of the guilt? So then you understand the meaning of the guilt. And then you say that, okay, let me find out, where is the guilt? Is the guilt present in the world outside, or it is present in me? It is neither, because I am of the nature of consciousness. Come on, where you are missing. So consciousness cannot have a guilt. And no object and a person can have a guilt. But I experience it. That is a fact. That experience is present in the delusion. That guilt or that suffering, that stress, that is why I'm not worthy of suffering. It is not present in me. Think. I have to think. The moment mind says you are very sad, oh, thank you very much, you have given me an opportunity to inquire. That awareness should return. That is where the dispassion and why I talked about it, that is where the discernment and dispassion work. One day you will realize in incomplete knowledge, mind picks up the word, as she picked up the word guilt. You will recognize and realize that any thought you pick up and then the mind from its memory projects it, and that projection makes you sad. That is obviously we experience. But when we live at a higher awareness, my friend, you will recognize that this world being projected within experiences retrieved from the past goes into every cell of the body. It changes the energy. You start feeling not only sad, you start feeling tired. You don't want to do anything because now it has gone into the body. Every cell of the body, every cell of the body is adversely affected. That creates a situation, conditions, and relationship in the world. You have a big face and your honey comes, what happened? Now she also starts thinking, oh, I did something, that is why he is. My goodness. I create the same vibrations all around in my life. And then I start blaming others. I don't live into that consciousness. Satchidanand is here and now. I'm living because I cannot exist without Satchidanand. 10 years of breathing practices, 1 week of self inquiry has the same result. I can tell you. 10 million of mantra japa, 2 weeks of self inquiry has the same result. At least if you are doing 2 million, so your mind and intellect is constantly working, and it will understand the meaning of the mantra. The knowledge in the mantra is revealed. You have the same impact. It is the knowledge, after all, in the mantra has to be revealed. By simply saying Om Shanti or Shantoham doesn't work. It works. It gives you some form of relaxation in the beginning. Discernment and discretion. You see, now indirectly it is coming to our daily life. This guy who returned back, first time you admitted much before. So I said, I'm not going to teach you this text at this time. So he said that, can I learn Gita? I said, yes. Gita can be taught to anyone, not Ashtavakra Gita, but only the Gita. First time, last week. He admitted that I have done some wrong things and I'm paying the price. My business is also affected. You told me last year, long back, that how to bring that journey into the profession. Rich people have the same problem. I don't have money. So I didn't say to him, I said, very good. I was thinking myself that I don't have anything. I told you he also runs in millions. So I have a lot of challenges. And then I have, I'm hesitated. I'm not able to manage the finances of the business. I said, very good, thank you. That's, I see that is very good for you also to understand that. I said, your acceptance and recognition that you have done something wrong because of ignorance is making you a seeker. That is why you return to it. Or you should have gone to somebody else. Because your intellect, you are intelligent, you are a genius. That's why you are earning so much of money. That is no fact, no doubt about it. But the recognition and acceptance of wrongdoing means I'm going opposite to the Nitya and the Naimitya Karma. Now see that. I'm going against what I should do. I should do what is right and good. What is right and good, I'm supposed to do. What is not right and good, I'm not supposed to do. I asked him, do you recognize? Yes, I recognize. Now see what happens. This is what we need to do as self-inquiry, and we have to understand. So I invoked a principle Krishna discussed in 18th chapter. 18th chapter, yes, if I'm not mistaken. He said there are 5 factors. I talked about it, you may recall. To succeed in any business or any activity, the first is the doer. Second factor is the body plus sense organs. Means the instrument by which I will perform an action. So I have to perform an action. Business is outside. I have created a big picture about the business, but my sense organs, my body has to put effort. So, instruments, third factor is the effort. I put it. Fourth factor is the knowledge, and the fifth is we forget the fifth factor, we replace it with the ego. Fifth factor, Krishna says you can name it anything. Fifth factor, you can say God, you can say existence, you can say Sachidanand, you can say destiny, you can say fate. Now see how the calmness enters into your life. What I possess, outer wealth in terms of the money, the recognition, the acceptance, the relations that I have at this time is the result of my previous birth and the past karma. You are thinking that I am working hard, that is why I am getting a return. It is not. What you are going to do today is going to create either favorable or unfavorable situation, condition, relationship in the future. This is known as what we say, this is known as sins in the virtues. I'm doing today what I'm supposed to do. I'm accumulating the virtues, the merits, the punya. You know the word punya. Papa. Papa means this thing. The moment I go against the tide, I said, my friend, why you are worried? Are you growing a seed for another unfavorable circumstances in your life in the future if you are not taking care of your life today? Money comes and goes, recognition comes and goes. Find out, I know what business you do. Fire people where it is not required. Don't show your recognition because ego will become the doer. Ego makes you suffer. What will happen? I said, don't go into emotional dependence. That is the way the life is. They will find their way. You are unconscious and they are unconscious. And two foolish people are running the business. Not possible. Not possible. Or there is another option. You call all of them, your 50 employees, you tell them that we are passing through this transition phase. Who is ready to put in extra effort with the same payment until we reach to a threshold? He liked that idea. He said, oh, this is really good. Otherwise, find out who is competent and who is extra competent. And that is where, so every day in life, we are living consciously. So when you are living consciously, you are living in Satchidananda. Living unconsciously, habitually, animally is living with the ego. Ego is nothing but the I thought in the intellect. And I thought in the intellect says, I thought in the intellect says. I'm saying I thought in the intellect says, oh mind, you have been living with attachment, detachment, delusion, and all this. Now I feel myself defeated. I will follow you. So what it means, I will follow you. I am sad. I have a guilt. I have an anxiety. What should I do? Where should I do? Confusion. Confusion is incomplete knowledge. Incomplete knowledge is ignorance. Remove the ignorance, you are free. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed and you are living consciously. Eyes are closed. You heard this thought. Thought contains the knowledge. The knowledge prompted you to act, and so your eyes are closed. Make your body comfortable. You are living in an extraordinary awareness, my friend. That is what happens day to day. Whether you're comfortable in the practice or are you comfortable during the day? What it takes. What it takes. If your mind says you are right, means I am right, what happens? You already live in discernment. You are already living in discernment, my friend. or we remind ourselves that, okay, what I was doing in being comfortable, that too is good in until the entire practice converts into a field of awareness. So looking at what we used to do, looking at the neck joint, feeling sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Then calmness and the quietness. It is there. The intellect does not have that conviction. Why? It is taken over by the mind. Intellect means, again, I will use the word intellect, means discernment and discretion. So, objectless state in the space, and the space is awareness, and awareness is the space. My friend, so easy to do it. I won't say so easy to do it, so easy to live in it. Why it is difficult? I told you, intellect means discernment and discretion, because they are the treasures of the intellect. So why I feel some days sad, not all the time. The intellect surrenders to the mind, which is running the same habitual way I just explained about the guilt. I should instantly become aware. Intellect, don't follow mind. You will lose the nitya and the namitya karma. See, the intellect says, yes, you are perfectly comfortable. Now see what is the royal secret hidden into it. You are actually moving from object to objectless state. Any object. I know any object because of the consciousness, but I am consciousness, so I forget the consciousness and I remember the object. An object does not contain the peace and happiness. So the next moment, the mind says, I am sad, I am unhappy. How dare you, mind, say that I am unhappy? How dare you say that I'm happy because of the object? Think, reflect. That is the journey to be comfortable. You are comfortable 24 by 7, days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, years after years. You are already awakened. That's another way to see it. Oh, is that so? My mind has not been giving so much of importance. Again, when I say go deeper, means you are rising in awareness, being comfortable with reference to the body. Body is an object, but that very comfort, the finest comfort, is consciousness, independent. Are we purifying the mind? Yes. Are we also moving deeper? Yes. Are we rising consciousness? Yes. So when there are multiple things, it is all about knowledge. Same way now, be carefree. Be aware. When I say be carefree means free from all the cares the mind does. The mind has been taught by the existence to take care of our survival by the four animal instincts. We revised it. We means we human beings. Fear of death, get all the insurance, health insurance, car insurance, house insurance. My goodness. We should take it. But do not, but the sense of insecurity is caused by the incomplete knowledge. That we need to understand. You have understood? Yes? So let us see. So free from all the cares of the mind. How the mind cares by a thought. So now I have to examine what kind of a thought. Why? Mind should be available to me 100% in all locations, at all time, in all relations. But it is not why. Lane 1, unwanted, unwelcome. From nowhere these thoughts are coming and going. Now link it, understanding? They are coming from the past, memories, sanskaras, vasanas. Let them come and go. And that is why and how I explained about the guilt to her. You don't know on which date, on which day. You don't know, and still they are. It means unwanted, unwelcome. Settle into that awareness, my friend. Oh, yes. So, will these kind of a thoughts of a guilt and anxiety and sadness will continue to pop up in the mind? Yes. So what is going to happen? You are affected, you are not affected. You treat them as a stranger. Mind has to do its activity. Oh, the lane 1. So, lane 2 is, I told you, the intellect, knowledge, discernment. This passion lives there. So, is it not so simple when I see the unwanted thought feeling comes, as if the unwanted sounds enters my house? I don't even care, but I am aware what kind of a sound it is. Think, reflection. Oh yes, you're right. There are hundreds of the sounds that enters my house every day, but they are dead for me. Unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, my friend. This understanding is required. Again, I'm repeating, same. I had a thought of a guilt. Unnecessary. When we are treating the path with a higher journey, our mind poses lot of subtle challenges. Because when your shirt is totally pure, even a small dot make it appear dirty. Our mind is becoming purer and purer, and in those moments, if we allow these thoughts, unwanted thoughts, two points we need to understand. One is to allow these thoughts. You don't have a control. That's why we have an unwanted, unwelcome thought. That is okay. They make me aware. But what is required? I am totally detached. They do not belong to me because the mind is not me. So we have this viveka and the vairagya that helps us to understand as long as the past sanskaras are 100% dissolved, these thoughts will continue to pop up. Remedy? Discernment and dispassion. Discernment and dispassion does not mean that I have to fight, I have to control, I have to destroy. No, not at all. They are not me. I don't belong to them. And that is how I made her to understand if the guilt means the big smile. Now, the best point in the Viveka and the Vairagya is if these thoughts, unwanted thoughts, do not enter into your mind, how would I learn to evolve? So they are an opportunity for me. They give an opportunity. Strong wind outside my house gives an opportunity for me to close the door and check it again that it is closed. What I have to do with the strong wind? Nothing. No, but I'm aware of the wind. Then what? I'm aware, but I'm not carried away. My mind is 100% available to me. That strong wind, maybe some issues with the relationship, maybe some issues with the business, maybe. Do you see that? See it clearly. That is the way. We bring that Satchidanand into our personal, professional, social, family life. We bring that time less into the time. We bring that in space, less infinite space into the limited space, into the enclosed body and the mind. Every problem, every pain, every sadness, every guilt is an opportunity to remind me that I am the real self, and what I am not is the mind and its content. Viveka and the Vairagya works at its best when we have a humility. Now, see another example of the humility. Your intellect says, I know what I know, that I do not know the real self. What happens to the mind? That whatever I have known until today is not helping me to know the real self. What should I do then? I don't care. Let any unwanted thought, feeling, emotions, experiences come and go. Let them come and go. Who cares? Why? I know that I don't know the real self. And what I know about the world until today, that knowledge is not helping me. That moment of awareness is the humility. In the state of the humility, the mind enjoys whether you have some unwanted thoughts or you don't have it. Oh, does that happen? Yes, that happens. So depending on the day, depending on the situation and the relations, where is our so-called the first thing to do? Mangalacharan. You're sad. You're sad means the mind is taking over you. Guilt or any sort of anxiousness. Asato ma satgamaya. So we become aware what is happening now. Asato ma satgamaya. Asato ma satgamaya. We chant it a couple of times in the mind and then we go for the meaning. Oh, lead me from false to the truth, false to the real. The moment you say the false to the real in your intellect, do you recognize instantly the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts, sadness that you had yesterday or today? So I'm saying it, but I'm not living into it. Tamasuma Jyotirgamaya. Tamasuma Jyotirgamaya. Tamasuma Jyotirgamaya. Moving from the ignorance to the wisdom. I may experience Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Anytime, any relationship, any situation, I live consciously and recognized the stress and the suffering. That I brand it as ignorance and done. You have to check those moments. You have to develop your own method of meditation based on the challenges. I just gave one example. And then we follow the journey. Then we go to the Mangalacharan by the teacher. Mrityormamritangamaya. Third line. Mrityormamritangamaya. Moving Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Moving from the mortality, the death. We all have a fear of the death. We all want to live forever. So who is that we? Sachidanand. It always lives forever. Who are we? We are the body and the mind. We will continue to have the feeling of insecurity and the fear, dissatisfaction, unhappiness. Yes. And then we return to the same Mangalacharan because we follow this master. I remember the Supreme Self every day, Sachidanand every day, in the morning in the heart. So you just play with your mind. Why the mind? I said that the mind should be 100% available to you. That is the beginning of a journey of a highest level of a seeker. So when you say, I remember that Supreme Self, in the morning, deep inside the cave of your heart, so your mind naturally moves into the cave of your heart, which is Sachidanand. I am Sachidanand. You may reflect on that the goal of a seeker means I am the seeker, is to discover the supreme consciousness, no object, objectless state. Oh, it is the fourth state. What is the fourth state? It is neither the waking state nor the dream or the sleeping state. It is the fourth state of the consciousness behind and beyond all the three. That pure consciousness without name in the form. No, but I have a name in the form. You remove the space from your body, nothing remains. You remove the space from the house does not exist. So, what triggers the mind? Which principle triggers your mind? We do not know. We only know when we follow the journey and a particular point results into the mind reflecting the reality. Oh, that is why we are doing Mangalacharan, yes. Remember that real self cannot be known by the mind and the speech. Cannot be known by the mind and speech. Yes. Is it not an opportunity for us to just leave the unwanted thought and feelings and emotions they enter into the mind? Why should I leave it? I cannot know the real self by the mind and the speech and the thought. Oh, yes. That real self shines everything, including the mind and the intellect. Good. So we live into that. You just pick up any principle in the form of a thought, extract the knowledge out of it. Knowledge is awareness, knowledge is consciousness. Every day in the morning, I remember that real self. Beyond the darkness or ignorance shines like a sun. So there comes another principle. I said, negate what I am not and settle in what I am. That is the journey of the false and the real self. But at the same time, we should know the false self will continue to remain where the real self is. If I say my honey will remain with another beautiful girl, one I have to negate and one I have to accept. Both are women. Why I said so? I said so. Whatever is happening in the mind, let me give another metaphor that you have understood. Whatever is happening in the mind is just the moonlight. It is a reflected consciousness. In terms of the thought, feeling, experiences, changes, oh, it's a reflected consciousness. It's easy to be aware. I am aware, but I recognize that awareness, unchanging, ever present. It was present in my stress, it was present in unwelcome thoughts, it was present in pleasing thoughts, it was present in all my experiences. It will continue to remain present all the time, is me. So, how to recognize? I recognize what is changing is not me. So, I simply recognize what is changing is not me. I'm negating it. I need not to do anything. By knowledge, I recognize this is my house. So, obviously, it is very clear neighbor's house is not me. At a very subtler note, we are meditating today. So instead, the mind should run after the pleasure in contact with the object outside. That is its nature. We bring it back by contemplation. I'm permanent happiness. That happiness. Really? That permanent happiness. I love myself the most. That is the source of the joy to me. Because real self is of the nature of permanent. Mind flickers. We need a step of breath awareness or chanting of the mantra. Mind remains clear. We don't need anything. We are already into that state. Again, mind along with the ego will create a challenge to you. What is that challenge? Mind will say, you see that? You still have an unwanted thoughts, but it is not affecting me. It is a mind, it's a part of the mind, and behind that, I am settled. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside. Know your experiences and bring